Hey folks, this is Bob coming at you, and today we're going to take a look at value priced blades. And in this first installment, we're going to take a look at the $4.99 machete from Harbor Freight. Here we are on location at the fish pond, and I'm going to start wanting to make a trail here pretty soon to see if I can get my quad down through here. And we've got some little pesky bushes and stuff that we want to try to get rid of. Here in the Pacific Northwest, we have a lot of blackberry bushes, and so what we have here in relation to the size of the blade, it's probably smaller than a pencil. So there. He's been defeated. Comes with a nylon sheath. I can tell you right now that this nylon sheath is a piece of crap. It's made out of nylon, but it's paper thin, has no rigidity whatsoever, has some metal fasteners on the key points to keep it intact, but basically that was just provided for shipping to keep it from cutting the people that were shipping it, I'm suspecting. It does have a belt loop on it. It does have a real high quality nylon strap. I mean, I'm being very facetious. I mean, this thing is a piece of garbage. But you know, if you're keeping it in your car and you want to keep it from cutting your seats, you know, if for like a bug out type protector, I mean, this thing will suffice for that. But if you're going to be out running and gunning and you have this thing on your hip and you're swashbuckling, you're going to want something different. Now, as for the blade itself, you know, it is kind of thin. And it does have a little bit of give to it. You know, for the price, it's not too bad. The grip actually feels really nice. You know, it actually feels like a Hogue pistol grip. Ergonomics are quite good. You know, it has the cutout notches for your fingers. You attach a lanyard here if you want. You know, you got these on the hilt. You know, it's got a fair amount of protection. You know, to keep you, you know, from getting hurt too bad, like on blackberries or other brush. And so far, with the smaller stuff, seems to be doing quite well. Let's ramp it up a little bit. This one's roughly the size of the pencil. This one's getting a little bit bigger back in here, about the size of like a Sharpie marker. So, with these, let's chop this. We have a couple of saplings that really don't need to be here. They're about as big around as my thumb. I'm gonna see how many swipes it takes to take one of these out with this blade. I'm hoping just once. Yeah. Not too shabby. But you know, this blade hasn't been sharpened. Just came from the from Harbor Freight. You know, it really doesn't have a blade on it at all. Probably should have sharpened it before we started, but hey, if you're going to buy it directly out of the sheath, that's what you get, folks. So here you can see about what I did in about 10 minutes time. It's performing as expected. No, it's nothing great, but it's not that bad either. You know, if you were just somebody who wanted something like this just to have another yard implement, it's not a bad thing to have. And for $5, why not buy a couple extra? Maybe buy one to give to your wife to keep in her car. I have a love-hate relationship with machetes. Respect your blade, and that's no joke. High school, almost lost my finger because of a machete. So I'm going to try to find a piece of wood so we can test to see how strong this saw is and see if it'll cut through anything. Let's go find something. Well, I think we just found what we're going to try to saw through here. So, I gotta tell you, I'm really less than happy with the stupid saw on this thing. It totally looks menacing, but I give up. That's how you do it. Alright, throw test. Harbor Freight machete, rock wall, distance 15 yards or so. Let's try it out. Alright, let's check it out. There we have some damage to the handle. Maybe the rubber on this is a little too soft. Alright, what else can we do? Concrete barrier, machete. That was too much for it. And it's bent. Well, folks, if you buy a Harbor Freight machete, don't throw it against a concrete wall. Not only did it break, it bent the blade. Not very tough. It does okay when you're working on grass and blackberries. Not very resilient against other stuff. So, there you have it. Sounds cheap, but it's made in China. It's one of the handles. Looks like plastic inserts for the screws had broken. Well, that didn't last as long as I was hoping it was gonna. I thought it'd take a little bit more damage than that. There's the other handle. And plastic inserts, which are definitely not battle tough. Busted quite easily. All right, final verdict for $4.99. Yeah, it's okay for a yard implement, but for $4.99, if you're looking at something that's going to be battle tested and battle proven and it's going to save your skin, don't buy it. At first, I was pretty darn tickled with the results I was getting out of the blade. It does really well against grass. It does really well against blackberry bushes. It does extremely well against chicken eggs. Wasn't expecting that. And you know, for the price, you know, I can't really complain. $5. I got $5 use out of it. And hell, I got to break it. I like breaking stuff. Breaking stuff was cool.
After a hard day of swashbuckling, it's always good to have some monster rehab. You can refresh, rehydrate, and revive. Bottoms up. I think there was a bug in there. Oh, crikey. Yeah, that was a bug.